صدای سخن عشق ندیدم خواجتر، یادگاری که در این گنبد دوار به ما.
For the first time in 40 years, the silence ends. Tonight, the voice that once carried the only hope of the entire nation of Iran, a voice banned, buried, but never forgotten, will rise again. Tonight, we will hear her for the first time.
Before all this, before exile and silence, there was a city. Not the Tehran you know now. It pulsed with contradiction, miniskirts and mosques, poetry and protest. 1,000 radios playing 1,000 dreams, and in the middle of it all, two young fools trying to make music. The year was 1976. I was singing Western jazz, and my buddy Amir was singing ancient Persian melodies. The country was at a crossroad. We've never been as divided. Felt like three bodies trying to live in one soul, and we have never seen them do. Until we heard her sing.
گل یاسون از سرن بهار نارنج هی سر میکشه از سخونوی باز و بلنگش این جان که اگه چیش تو چیشایی
You're really going all in with this jazz. You need some of your own flavor in this.
And where do you think I'll find my own flavor? I'm playing these songs for the first time.
Your own flavor comes from within, from who you are.
Who I am. I'm the son of a mullah. I grew up with sermons, not saxophones. You want me to bring that into jazz? That's like dropping a minaret into a nightclub. And I've heard you play your old melodies. It sounded less like music, more like reciting history books with a beat.
I keep trying. I know I am not good or talented enough. But I know the three can coexist and want to show every Irani that the three can coexist.
Stop talking in riddles like my father. What are these three that need to coexist?
We are a nation that spiritually needs its belief. We found it in religion. That's one. But we're also a nation with a well-rooted past, and we need our Persian pride and identity. That's two. The last, the third, is what you were just singing, a connection to the West and the modern times. If we show the world that the three can coexist in music, then we can prove that the three can coexist in life. We can save this nation.
I think I found the answer to your prayers. What is that? Where is it? It's found in one word, Laleh. Tell me about her. About Laleh. She doesn't just sing a song, she resurrects something. She's Persia and progressed, stitched together in a single breath. A prayer and a party. She takes the dusty scale of an old daska and bends it into something new, something electric. Her voice dances like a jazz saxophone but lands like a call to prayer. She makes kids in bell-bottoms cry. The old men stand tall in Persian pride. Even the clerics, some of them look away, but not before they listen and feel something deep in their soul, in their spirit, like the call for prayer.
Oh, wow. I never heard you speak of any musician in this way. Usually you're too critical. How does she do all that?
Because she doesn't ask for permission. She declares a future. Her voice touches the believer's soul because it's clean and true and sounds like longing. It sparks pride in the rooted because every note has weight like it has been carved from Shiraz marble. And to the ones drunk on abundance, she spoils them with beauty they didn't know they were starving for. She isn't a singer. She's a hypothesis that maybe, just maybe, we don't have to choose. That we could be both crown and crescent, oud and synthesizer, Farsi and funk.
If that's true, if she is true, then this country still has a chance.
We just have to make sure everyone hears her sing.
And here, in 1976, in a city torn between prayer and progress, two young men stood on opposite sides of melody. Amir, the idealist with wealth and a dream. Reza, the son of faith, chasing rhythm and recognition. Unaware that one voice would soon bind them both. Unaware of the power that was about to be sung.
A city pulling itself apart. Faith tugged toward the sky. Pride anchored in the past. And progress racing toward neon lights. Amir wanted to believe they could all sing the same tune. Reza? He wasn't so sure, but there was someone who might prove them both right. That night, Reza didn't say much, just, "Come with me." They ducked behind shuttered cafes, through alleys lit only by cigarette tips and old lamplights, down a staircase where every step felt like a secret. No lights, no stage, just a room filled with waiting hearts. And then she sang. It wasn't a performance. It was something older, something sacred. A girl with no microphone, no name, only a voice. And that voice, it stitched together the broken. It reached deep into the believer's longing, lifted the head of the prideful, and gave the dreamer a new kind of dream. It wasn't music. It was evidence that maybe we didn't have to choose. When Amir first heard her voice, it was like hearing a country take its first breath. She didn't just sing, she answered. And in that answer, Amir saw something too big for stages, too holy for just applause, a sound that could rewrite the soul of a nation. He called it belief. But belief, in time, grew teeth. By the next morning, the three of them were inseparable. Amir brought vision. Reza brought rhythm. Laleh brought everything else. A movement was born, part poetry, part prophecy. People said they were about to take over the world. They believed it.
They could have been famous from day one. The talent was there, the hunger too. But Amir, he didn't want to go fast. He wanted to go deep. To him, rushing was for pop songs. He was after something Persian. Something woven, not printed. Like a carpet from Qom, thread by thread, decade by decade.
Reza started losing patience. "You're building an empire, not a song," he said. Amir smiled. Exactly. What began as art began to feel like architecture. What was holy became branded. And Reza, He played along, nodded in meetings, pressed record when told. But something in him had gone quiet, and when envy goes quiet, it turns sharp. Amir had once believed in the voice for the people, but now he believed it belonged to him. The tensions grew, unspoken, unsung, because they all knew what they were building was bigger than all of them, too sacred to shatter, too fragile to touch. And then 1979 happened. '79 wasn't just a year. It was a silence stretching across a nation. Amir fled with his family, dreams stuffed between passports and prayer beads. He looked back once, but Tehran was already turning to smoke. Reza sat across from his father. No music left in his fingers, only obedience. And Lale? She didn't cry. She didn't speak. She looked in the mirror and watched her voice disappear. Not stolen, just buried to survive. Amir escaped to Los Angeles, but his dreams stayed behind. So he made something new, not music, product, a cheap remix of memory, plastic nostalgia, gift wrapped in neon.
No, Ghazel. Give it a beat drop. Think Bee Gees, not Hossein Banan.
Reza stayed, but his silence wasn't noble. It became command. He traded his saxophone for a sermon. Between the shadows of Tehran and the fluorescence of LA, the soul of a nation split in two. One drowned in silence, the other in noise, but neither had music. The regime had heard the whispers, that her voice still lived, that it could still awaken something. And Reza, he had the power now, enough to silence a nation or own its echo. He told her it was for her safety, but prisons don't always need bars. Some just need vows. In choosing him, she chose not to vanish into prison, but she still disappeared. She never sang again, never raised her voice, never even smiled. She lived, that was all. A country once built on verse and vibration now lived without sound. 40 years passed. 2 generations were born into the silence, but silence is not stillness. Somewhere deep, something was humming, waiting. It wasn't clean, it wasn't complete, but it was real. And for the first time in their lives, they felt something ancient and yet entirely new. Pride, not in bloodlines, but in possibility. A thrill, not for the past, but for the future. And faith, not in sermons, but in one singing voice. They didn't know who she was, but they knew what she meant. And unlike the men before them, they didn't try to own her, or brand her, or bury her. They only wanted one thing, for every Iranian in the world to remember where they came from, the land of Lala. They didn't know her name, only her sound, a voice from nowhere, yet somehow from home. It was on phones and radios, in whispers and WhatsApp threads, in prayer halls and clubs, on balconies and buses. No face, no name, just her voice, and across every screen.